Welcome to How to Thrive After a Toxic Relationship. Today is December 8th, 2019, and we're going to talk about facing the shadow and healing the inner child. And I'm going to give you one example of this in my own life. Today, December 8th, is the 6-year anniversary of my dad's death. I love and miss my father very, very much. He was so kind, so loving, and I'm immensely grateful that I was given a father like him. He was a very special man. My mom and him divorced when I was just 1 year old. I have no memories of their marriage. In fact, I have no memories of even living in the same home with my dad as a child. My mom got married to my stepdad, and they had more children together. I remember calling my stepdad Daddy, like my younger siblings were calling him, and I was really confused and sort of lost when he responded, "I'm not your dad. Don't call me Daddy. Call me by my name." He didn't say that to be mean. He just knew that my real dad loved me and he didn't want me to be confused. But I was really little, so I was super confused. My dad was in my life, but not a whole lot. I would see him every other weekend until we moved out of state when I was in kindergarten. And then I went through most of elementary and middle school without seeing him at all. I lived with my dad as a teenager for a little bit on and off again. That's really when we got to know each other. But we didn't actually grow close emotionally until I was an adult. As an adult, it wasn't too late for him to help shape me into the woman I am today. He was so kind and loving, philosophical. He loved to have long discussions about the meaning of life. I cherished our long talks and how he gave advice. He gave amazing advice. But of course, I didn't listen to most of his advice, even though I should have. I held no bitterness or ill feelings towards my dad for the time in childhood that we didn't get to see each other much. I knew that he had regrets about life, deep regrets, which he shared with me, and that he had always yearned to see his children more than he was able to. I always thought of my dad fondly, especially after his death. To this day, I miss him terribly. I talk about him and his jolly spirit every day to my 3 sons. They feel close to him as well, just because his spirit is so much a part of our daily lives. How does this have anything to do with the topic of toxic relationships, you might ask? Well, every relationship has its ups and downs. And that is also true for toxic relationships. They do have good times and fond memories. One of the things that I came to realize as I was healing from the ending of my second toxic relationship is that my former partner reminded me so much of my father. The good things about him, not the bad. My father was so jolly and jovial, sometimes even childlike. His sense of humor, generosity, hospitality, and warm affection. My former partner, when he was in a good state, was so much like this. He made me think of my father constantly when he was projecting this fun-loving side of his personality. Now, for those of us who have experienced a toxic relationship, we know this is only one side of the coin. The other side is very dark, confusing, hurtful, blaming, and shaming. This side of my former partner was nothing like my father. As I was trying to move on from this relationship, I was in a painful and vulnerable state. It was very hard for me to let go. I wondered, why can I not move on? Our relationship was so damaging and literally dragged me down into depths of darkness I would never want to revisit. Why am I still clinging on to these good memories, even though the bad memories are reason enough to never go back? I thankfully found the way in which to heal myself. By using techniques such as the interactive healing meditations in my 6-week How to Thrive After a Toxic Relationship healing program, I was able to understand what was inside of me that was causing this yearning to go back to my former partner. By going within, deep into my psyche, finding the traumas long forgotten and stuffed inside, I found that I was holding on to this connection to my former partner because as a child, I didn't have my father. My father lived in another state, and I didn't get to see him regularly or even really know him until I was in high school. There had been a hole inside of me, a longing for this father who eluded my child self. My former partner represented this figure in my subconscious. He represented a father, a man to take care of me, to love me and nurture the little girl inside. This was especially so because of how his positive traits resembled my own father's positive traits. This need to be parented, to be fathered, to be loved, was a need inside of me I had to fill myself to truly be complete, full, and self-partnered. I needed to parent myself. I simply couldn't expect another to fill this hole inside of me. Simply by being aware of this yearning inside of me and the reasons for it helped me to heal that and nurture myself in ways that filled my own cup. And I grew so much closer to the spirit of my actual father when I was able to forgive him and let go of the loss I felt as a child for him not being there. These were feelings I didn't even know were there inside of me until I forced myself to look within and face my own shadow. I had to truly look at the reasons inside myself that I would want and desire to be with a partner who ripped my whole world apart and blamed it all on me. I didn't want to be sick and needy and codependent anymore. I wanted to be the person I knew I could be, the person I had always thought I would be as a grown-up. I didn't want to be a wounded child anymore. We have access to the tools to transform our lives. It's about awareness and remembering to tap into these tools. If you resonate with any of this, please know I have been there. Many, many people have experienced these feelings and know what you're going through. My 6-week healing program delves deep into the psyche and unveils layers of programming for transmutation. If you feel as awful as I did, as hopeless, as rock bottom, please check out my resources today at www.thrivingwithrachel.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And to my dad, it's been 6 years since you passed. We miss you so. See you on the other side. Peace, love, and namaste. Have a thriving day.